go on YouTube. Today's video will be about the Spark Necromancer self-cast slash Spellslinger aura stacker that I'm trying to make, but the main focus will be on the leveling process and how I use Spark, or how I kind of use Spark. I use Spellslinger with Spark to level up the character. And I'm going to go over how you can level up any character on the top side of the tree by utilizing wand crafts, because a lot of people don't really know how to level up Scions super fast, and it really doesn't matter what ascendancy you are as long as you use wand crafts. Wand crafts will literally carry you all the way to your level 50 or so. But this character is gonna become a self-cast Spark with March of the Legion boots with an aura stacker emphasis. Now Necromancer, I believe, is a pretty good league starter because you get a lot of free resist. You get 30% resist from your ascendancy. You also get 50% skill duration. And then you also get free offering, flesh offering, for some more movement speed and attack and cast speed. And you can also get a bunch of attack and cast speed if you're able to constantly consume corpses. So if you have a trigger one, or right here I'm using Spellslinger with flesh offering, you will have a lot of attack and cast speed. And I actually think you could probably play the Spellslinger Spark version till red maps, just like the Stormbrand version. And there's also the opportunity that you can play this build and just play Stormbrand instead of Spark. But this is for the people who like the Spiders MTX, and some people just like playing Spark in general. I would recommend you level with Stormblast Mine in the beginning, but I was leveling with Self-Cast Spark, which is kind of a troll. But it doesn't really matter what you do as long as you have fun. That's the main thing. But I personally enjoy self-casting Spark after seeing some Aura Stacker Spark videos. So I'm going to try to make this work. And some people might want to play on a Witch and not always just play on a Scion. So this will help people out who want to level a Witch with Spellslinger. But I'm going to go into the gear overview, and then I'm going to talk about the caster wand recipe, which carried me on all my characters through the leveling process and made leveling a breeze. So this is the witch I currently have. I was able to finish the campaign in like 4 hours 30 minutes, but you can probably get it a lot faster. I was talking to chat a lot, and I also looked at YouTube videos for a little bit, so you could probably get it down to 3 hours 30 minutes to 4 hours, which is a pretty respectable time at league start. So this is the character I currently have. She's level 62. She finished the campaign. All the passes are done with, and let's see. And I took what's it called? Alira. And I don't know about the slash blade, but I had this. I ended the stream. I took a shower and everything. So you can see you can finish the campaign super fast. But let's go over the gear. So this is the wand recipe I'm talking about. You get flat damage to spells. So I'm level 62, and this wand is obtainable at level 22. And I'll go over how to make it. So you can see I was carried by this wand all the way from level 22 to level 62, and it's able to kill everything. So I have the same thing. So I could have crafted attack speed on this, because the attack speed is pretty good in general, but I was unable to have the alts to craft it. You can also aug Regal and then pray to get something good and then craft it. But Regals are generally pretty rare at league start, so it'd be hard to find. This helm is just some life helm. And just as some general leveling tips is you should always try to craft resist on everything. A resist craft is only one transmute, so you can see here, one transmute to craft it, right? So a lot of people
I'll need to be more live.
So a lot of people play play through the campaign for the first time, especially at beginners, and they wonder why they're dying. And if you're dying, it's because your resists here are not 75, 75, 75, and it makes a huge difference. Or you don't have any armor and not using a granite flask. So I have no armor, so I get one-shotted a lot by physical damage. But here I'm just using a Dex Amulet. I got this really early on from like the quest from Solaris Temple. Or just some more life resist ring. This ring is actually pretty good. Oh yeah, I wanted to mention one more thing about Spellslinger. In the previous video, I mentioned how you can get lightning damage to attacks and it will scale your Spellslinger ability. However, it only works on the wand. So the wand needs to have the local lightning damage to attacks. So having this lightning damage to attacks does not actually affect the Spellslinger ability. This is another what's it called? Another chest piece. Is just 4 linked. So for these chest pieces or any of these armor pieces, you want to see if you have an open suffix. Having an open suffix is one of the best things. So if you have an open suffix and you have transmutes, they usually get a lot of transmutes while leveling. Just make sure to transmute it and craft on a resist. So you can see almost all my pieces of gear have some resist craft. And this thing here, you can craft on move speed. So this is like 75 life. And then this is the same to ordeal. I should craft on another prefix, but there's no real prefix outside of life that really matters. So you can see the gear is pretty budget. There's really nothing special to it, and it's just a bunch of random flasks. Now, you might be wondering about what links I'm personally running. I'm running Hydrospear, Spellslinger, Flesh Offering, and added lightning damage support. So added lightning damage is just some extra damage on Hydrospear. I'm not really sure what else I could run. Technically, I could run like Power Charge on crit or something. I'm not really sure. There's a lot of probably different options. You can run Culling. Culling is probably the best thing to run because Culling is pretty much just 10% more damage for one link. So that's probably what I would run if I had any chromes. And then for the main link, I'm using Spark, Pierce, Spellslinger, and Controlled Destruction. You could also probably use Elemental Focus because with Controlled Destruction, it's a little hard to proc. What's it called? It's hard to proc your Elemental Focus. And I thought, so Elemental Focus is this Elemental Overload, I mean. Elemental Overload gives you 40% more damage if you've crit recently. But when you use Controlled Destruction, if you look at our Spark damage, our Spark crit chance is only 2.4%. So it actually makes it pretty hard to get it. So if you take this out, it's 8.4%. So it's 4 times more likely to proc it. I thought that proccing it with Frenzy would be good enough, but Frenzy is only 8.4% still. So Control Destruction is pretty good. You can probably use Elemental Focus, but then you won't be able to shock. But maybe you can shock with Hydrospear of added lightning. And then I'm pretty much just using Arcane Surge, Flame Dash. So when you Flame Dash, you gain Arcane Surge buff. This should really be linked to Second Wind. I was just lazy. So ideally, you should have another like 4 link with Flame Dash, Arcane Surge, Second Wind, and Smoke Mine. So you should always try to be Smoke Mine and Flame Dash while you're leveling through the campaign. And that's probably one of the other main tricks for leveling fast. So leveling fast pretty much just comes down to like knowing the layouts, inventory management, and knowing exactly what you want to do. So like you should have a plan of attack through the act, like whether you're going to do the skill point quest, whether you're going to get the Malagaro's map or something like that. So basically this is just basic generic leveling gear. It's all just life and resist. And the way this character plays, I can show you real fast. And I will show some leveling footage from, from the character and how it looked like while leveling. I did try self-cast Spark, and self-cast is just a lot worse. I mean, it's really hard to actually like make a justification for it. So you can see that, oh no, I don't have a staunching flask, I'm probably dead. So you pretty much just cast, okay, am I gonna die? No. So you pretty much just cast Frenzy, you get Frenzy charges, and then the sparks come out from around you, so you actually need to be kind of near the mob. And then Hydrospear puts the exposure on all the mobs, and then you're casting Flesh Offering over and over again. So I think this could be really good once you get Uber Lab with this node here. So 2% increase attack and cast speed for each corpse consumed recently. So since you're always consuming corpses, you're going to have 200% attack and cast speed. So I feel like that could be something really interesting early on. Now, this is just one way of leveling the character, right? Like, this is just a ways to an end, or means to an end, whatever the saying goes. So you could level this any other way. Like, you could honestly play Armageddon brand, Cremation, and I guarantee you it will be faster. You can play Storm brand, and I think it probably will be faster. But some people just enjoy playing Spark, and this is for people who like doing Spark. But just know, Spellslinger builds are very, there's a lot of variety. You don't even need to use Hydrospear. Some people use Arc, some people use Wave of Conviction. You should just play around with what you feel like is the best. Personally, for me, Hydrospear helped out a lot, but Arc was actually really good early game for the better clear. But now that Spark has some Pierce, I didn't really feel like I needed the Arc so much. So now I wanted to talk about the leveling tree. So Witch is a really good leveling character because you can path straight out of here and you can go to Elemental Overload, which is pretty much just 40% more damage. And then I pathed over here to get these nodes. life nodes, some good life nodes, and then get this like spiritual aid for minion damage and these big damage nodes over here. And then I pathed over here because I wanted to get the projectile speed. So this is like 10, 15, 20% projectile speed. It's pretty much the only projectile speed that we can get. And then it's just some generic life. And attack speed is pretty good because attack speed is pretty much like cast speed for a Spellslinger build. And this is pretty much my generic leveling tree. I did start picking up some sovereignty. So this makes it so that you can run more links on your Spellslinger and have an extra skill. So I took these nodes here. So this is because I'm like swapping into the Aura Stacker. Because with the Aura Stacker, I'm going to probably go down here, take Charisma, and take Ballistic Mastery for the projectile speed maybe. So you can see there's a lot of different routes to take. And then eventually I probably will drop, well, I'll go into crit. So I'll probably drop Elemental Overload, take this crit cluster here, take this spell crit cluster here, and then take these clusters here, path through here for the crit chance. And then I think it should be worth going crit. But going crit means that you'll need to get crit multi on your amulet, and you'll need to get multi and crit chance on your wands. So it just makes gearing a lot harder. So that's why Elemental Overload is so strong early game. But I will try to, so tomorrow's video, I'm going to stream it and I'm going to try to do Spellslinger Spark as long as possible before I transition fully into self-cast Spark with March of the Legion boots. So I just wanted to go over the gear real fast and help you understand the rationale behind why I chose the tree. Mainly just I went down this area because of projectile speed, but because projectile speed really makes a huge difference. So I threw on some gear later on. So this is the gear I use. So I use the essence of projectile speed. I'm not really sure how crazy it is to get wands like these, but these are just essence crafted. And then I crafted on flat damage. And then I have a tabula, which you would probably get relatively early on if you just did some chaos recipe. And then a belt with some life and resist. And it makes a huge difference. You can actually get 100% projectile speed from the wand. So I think Spark will actually feel remarkably good. So yeah. Anyhow, I'm going to talk about the caster recipe and why these wands carried me and can carry any skill you want to play up to like level 50 or so. And how to actually do it. Okay, for this part of the video, I'm going to show you how you can make the wand. So the wand, you can see the recipe here is magic weapon with X added lightning damage, X added lightning damage to spells. So you see you need a magic wand, scepter, or dagger. So this works with any of those three types. Rune dagger maybe only. So if you want lightning damage to spells, you need a topaz ring. If you want fire damage to spells, if you're playing Armageddon, Brand, Cremation, you want a ruby ring. And if you want cold damage to spells because you're playing, I don't really know why you would be using cold damage to spells, maybe Frost Bomb or something, then you need a sapphire ring. So that should be very easy to understand. Now, the tier of the mod depends on the rarity of the ring. So if you want a tier 8 damage mod, level requirement 11, you use a normal ring. So you don't even need to get an alch, you don't need a transmute. And if you want a magic ring, you do a level 18. And then if you want a rare ring, you do level requirement 26. I think it's level requirement 22 and this thing is wrong actually, but I'm not 100% sure. But basically you get an alteration and then a ruby ring, a topaz ring, or sapphire ring corresponding to the element type, and then you give an alt, and you have to make sure the wand has to be magic. So here
be well.
I have a magic wand. So you might be wondering,
Hello.
what if they're early game and you can't find a topaz ring? There's a way to force the topaz ring. So if you do an iron ring and a green socket, it gives you a pierce, or it gives you a topaz ring. So a green gem gives pierce, and a blue gem gives sapphire, and then a red gem gives a ruby ring. So here I'm gonna just do a sapphire ring just to show it. So you get a sapphire ring back from the topaz, the blue gem. Then you alch it, and this will give you a level 22 requirement. I think it's 22. Then you have to make sure you get an alt. Let's see, we have an alteration here.
Yes.
So you have a magic wand, an alteration, and then a rare sapphire ring, and that should give you a level 20 requirement. So it's only level 20 requirement. So if you just craft this wand before you do Vol, your Vol kill will be a lot faster. So you generally want to craft the normal one before Merval, and then I think you want to do the rare one before Vol or after Vol is fine, and that should carry you through a large portion of the game.
Yes?
So there you go. And then you have this, so you can see what happens
well.
when we have a normal one. So when we have a normal one, and then we get an alteration orb here. So what level requirement will this be? It's level 8 requirement. So you can craft this before Merval and it would make it a joke. You could do this actually before Brutus if you're lucky enough to get this, and it would be pretty easy.
Be well.
But that's why when you level up, a lot of it is knowing about how to save like your currency. So you know, oh, I have 2 alteration orbs. That's what I need to craft it. So I don't need to vendor identify rares anymore. I can try to get transmutes to get the skill gem. But this wand is incredibly important early game. So like, say for instance here, like you have this thing here. It's 6 to 10 cold damage to
what
spells.
Little help I can offer is yours.
Like you have to consider that.
Take care.
6 to 10 is an incredibly high amount of damage when you're early game, and this flat damage can carry like any skill you use. And once you get the rare craft, it can literally carry you till you're like level 50. So that's like, I played Self-Cast Stormbrand last time, and Self-Cast Stormbrand felt pretty good with 2 of the rare flat damage to weapon crafts until I got to like around level 50, and then it fell off super hard because flat damage scales badly, right? The flat damage is the same, but the skill gem becomes higher and higher. So for instance, Spark right now at level 16 is already 34 to 648. So having like 3 to 48 lightning damage to spells is pretty insignificant, right? But early on, like Spark damage, like let's look at Spark. So Spark PoEDB, you can look at, well, you're at level 20, right? How much damage does Spark do? Level 20, Spark does only, wait, where is it? Wait, oh no, level 20. So it requires level 20. The Spark does 5 to 100 damage, right? And like say you're like level 16, 4 to 76, 5 to 100 damage means that 2 of these wands here is already more than the base damage of your Spark Gem. So it's literally doubling the damage of your Spark Gem from having 2 flat crafted spell damage wands. So this is why like level 20 to 50 is a breeze on casters, and that allows you to pretty much get path anywhere you want. So if you're a Scion and you have trouble, you just craft the wands and you're able to path out. You can get Elemental Overload, and then you can get all of these juicy damage nodes or wherever you want to go, and you can also get the Scion Life Wheel to be tankier. So that's how you level up a Scion. Everything is pretty much similar in that you want a beeline for Elemental Overload. And then if you don't get Smoke Mine, make sure to try to get Smoke Mine from the library quest because it makes a huge difference in leveling speed. So that's pretty much it for the leveling strategy I have. So I'm going to show you some quick leveling, action on the Spellslinger Spark build. And hopefully everyone learns from doing this crafted recipe, because I honestly believe that this crafted recipe is broken and makes caster leveling early game a complete joke on any skill and on any class.
Thought you'd call, but you didn't, so I'm sitting here. Thought I heard my phone ring, but it disappeared. Guess I'm just losing my mind again. I tell myself to breathe in, but the darkness hung its teeth in, and its mind has got me thinking. Sick and tired of feeling, so sick and tired of dreaming, 'cause I always wake up. Sick and tired of believing that this pain will never end. Oh, I've had enough. Cause it always comes back again, and I'm not even gonna pretend that it's okay. Constantly putting myself to breathe in. But the darkest sun gets sleeping, and its madness got me thinking. So sick and tired of dreaming, 'cause I always wake up. Sick and tired of believing that this pain will never end. Oh, I've had enough. I've had enough. Here we go again. You're my friend. You're my
I hope you enjoyed the, what's it called, the lovely clips of Spellslinger Spark. It was actually pretty surprising how effective it was. I actually just realized I vendored my Awaken increased AoE gem on accident. I didn't know that I actually just pulled out Awaken AoE gem. Pretty much just went here and took out a gem and I vendored it. So I don't know how much that actually cost, but it's all in the cost of the video, right? I just wanted to show you guys how to get a sapphire ring at my expense. It's kind of weird that green is topaz. I don't know why I always associate lightning with blue. It's probably because lightning is blue, right? Like all the lightning skills are blue, so it's kind of weird that the green gem gives you the topaz ring. So just keep that in mind. Iron ring plus green gem is topaz ring, which is lightning, which is a blue skill generally. But I really do look forward to this build. I do think self-cast Spark is very, very fun to play, and yeah, it's actually really good on some fights. It just reminds me of the aura stacking days. Probably the best build to do the feared, right? Because you could just stand in the middle and hold everything down. And Necromancer is actually a very good ascendancy to start off. Purely because of this node here, you get 30% all res. 30% all res makes gearing a lot easier. And yeah, so you can see right now at 41, 32, 39, and that node does not get activated until you're in an actual zone. So you can see here now magically I have 71, 62, 69. So that's pretty much a whole item's worth of resist having tri-res. But if you like the content, be sure to like and subscribe. I hope I helped everyone's leveling journey out a little bit, because the caster recipe is just completely broken, and all you have to think about is 2 of these wands is more damage, flat damage to spells than the whole spell gem for Spark. So thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and check out the Twitch stream. I will be streaming every day, and tomorrow I'll be trying to put together the Spark self-cast aura stacker on Necromancer. And thanks for watching everyone, and I hope you find more mirrors and exalts than I do, and see you next time.